Welcome back to another episode of NFL News on the Boom Bust channel. I'm your host Terry, and today got to talk about the Micah Parsons trade. So this is I'm about to say some, I'm just not. I already know everybody's about to not agree and be upset. That's fine. I don't really care. But I've been wanting to talk about this Jerry Jones thing for a while, like all week, but I just been very busy. And the one night that I happen to have a little bit of time would be the night that Micah gets traded. So I'll say this because obviously, it doesn't matter as much now that it's done. I was, after the interview with Stephen A. Smith, I was ready to talk about how I kind of agree with Jerry. If, what he was saying is true. And what was funny, because, I've made my comments online because everybody's been talking about it, is that every time, I mention anything that, I guess defended Jerry, people will come back, oh, so you believe him? You taking his, who's your source? I'm like, Jerry Jones literally got on TV and said it. So you believe him? I'm like, okay, so who do you believe? First of all, Micah and the agent didn't say anything. Second, the agent, when he talked, he didn't deny that he turned down Jerry's offer to talk. He said, I didn't use that language. So he basically said, okay, yeah, when they called, we said no. So hearing it from his side, while I wouldn't approach it the way he did, hearing it from his side, it made more sense to me where he was coming from. So once again, if what he was saying is true, and honestly, because there was no denial, I tend to, just take the information that I have from the primary source. He said Micah called him, and Micah said he wanted to negotiate. Now, I wish I could remember who it was. It was somewhere recently. It might have been a Hard Knocks, it might have been something, but there was a GM talking, and he essentially said the same thing Jerry was saying. He was like, we want to get this deal done, and he basically asked some simple numbers, like, what total or what average salary, what number of years would you be comfortable with, maybe what type of guarantee. Boom, that's it. That doesn't mean like, okay, that's every detail in the contract, but typically, these are very standard, easy numbers. Like what are you looking for? What would you be comfortable with? Length of contract, number wise, like very simple numbers. Obviously the details is what the agent does. And so, and they mentioned the owner too, just saying, okay, this is a number we'll be cool with. So I don't understand why everyone blew this up, besides it being the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, to say that, okay, him and Micah oh my God, you can't negotiate. It happens and I wouldn't even say negotiate like we're here going to war, but like as far as just kind of talking about the basic numbers, that happens all the time. And again, if what Jerry says is correct and Micah didn't deny it, like Micah called him, and typically when people say things that are easy to prove like that, I take it at face value unless somebody comes out and denies it, which no one did. So if Micah called him, Micah said he wanted to negotiate, that's easy to prove. If I don't know why somebody would lie about that, but if we want to pull receipts, that's easy to pull a receipt. So if that's the case, and you said, okay, yeah, I'm looking around 5 years, this, whatever. I don't see all these people trying to say Jerry was trying to do something crazy. And then Jerry told Micah, call your agent. Now, he didn't like the way Micah called him back later and was like, don't talk to me, talk to my agent. Like, Jerry didn't like that. And this is totally Jerry being prideful on a certain level. And like I said, I wouldn't handle it the way he did. But people was trying to make it seem like he was going crazy or it was something, weird. I just didn't agree with that. Either way, it was very clear Jerry wanted to send a message, not to Micah, but to the owners, to the teams, to all these players. Like, you're not just gonna do things any way you want to. And despite, I think, what people have said about, the relationship being solid enough, we've heard enough to know that the team does not like the way Micah rolls off the field. They don't like the way he rolls with, his free time. They don't like the way he rolls in the locker room. And so this is kind of another step of like, look, this is a lot of money to commit to you. Yeah, you've been out there putting up numbers. We ain't won nothing. And so we got to make a decision. And you can say the same thing about CD and Dak, and we saw how those went. So his press conference tonight, said some interesting things. He alluded to some things that I've been saying and that any real football fan knows, or any real football student. Micah does not play the run. I've been saying there is a very loud group of Micah supporters that were annoyed with me all summer because I had to really get into this. Micah is not in the discussion for best defender in the league. He's not. You could say he's one of the best young pass rushers. You could say he's one of the most explosive pass rushers. You could say a lot of stuff. He's not a top defender. And so I did my series, or my episode, if you want to check it out, grading the pass rushers. And as I said, that whole project started because of the argument I was having about Micah Parsons. Because I've watched the tape, unlike these other people, and I've known since day one, Micah, when he excels in certain situations, he is not elite down to down. Myles Garrett is elite down to down. Trey Hendrickson, elite down to down. TJ Watt, Max Crosby, guys like that. Micah, at this point, is more than likely the most athletic edge rusher there is, for sure. Elite explosion, elite movement, but he's not a complete package. And so for me, just on the discussion of best defender, I'm not giving you best defender when you don't play the full defense. Now, to me, I think that's more of a Cowboy issue. A little bit of a Parsons issue, but his rookie year, they used him off ball on a lot of rundowns, and I think he would be great at that, and he was great at that. But that's not what they've been doing. He's been full time on the edge and just a liability, frankly. And you can't say that about the other elite guys. They're not a liability in a run game. And so down to down, man, I got some issues with Micah. But Jerry Jones in his press conference mentioned how this was strategic, that the area of that they were concerned was the run. And he said, when you got such a great pass rusher, one of the ways to stop him is to run right at him. And he said that makes the run defense issues even worse. And he said, we've been bad against the run since Micah's been here. He said, but the last 4 years, essentially saying we've been bad against the run with Micah. So we're trying to get better at that. Again, I'm not saying I agree with all that fully, but I understand where Jerry's coming from. So look, to me, if the agent indeed said, we're not going to talk to you because we're not working off these figures because you didn't talk to me. Everyone keeps saying Jerry's pride and ego. That's an agent's pride and ego too. I mean, Micah said yes to it. And so I'm not saying that obviously each situation is different, but there are 100% times where an agent will push a player for something, or push something for a player that the player might not have wanted, but the agent's trying to get more money. And some players usually veteran players, but it's not always a lot of dudes like this. Some players call the agent, hey, you're my agent, you work for me. I want you to get this done. I don't, if it's anything over this, we're taking it. I don't care. But most guys will let the agent, do their thing. And I have no problem with that. But Micah should have did that from the beginning. And he did not. And he said yes to some figures. And so, to me, I think both sides was being stubborn. The trade, to me, is surprising because, A, who they traded it to. Not only are the Packers in the conference, but they play the Packers this year. But then also, the compensation package wasn't that great. Like 2 first-round picks, and I personally don't think the Packers are gonna be world beaters like some people. And that's not me hating just because I'm a Bears fan. I'm always realistic when it comes to football. But you still probably are not gonna get top 10 picks. That's not gonna happen more than likely. And then you get Kenny Clark, who was great, but he's long in the tooth. I mean, savvy vet, but I thought at the very least they would get Lucas Van Ness. But Rashawn Gary in that list, Quay Walker in that list. I'm very surprised. All they got was Kenny Clark. No disrespect to him, former All-Pro, former top, 5 interior in the league, but that's just not what he is anymore. And so that package is a little wild. So for me, man, this is crazy. I do think it's crazy like everybody else. But as far as how everything went down, I just don't see it the way everybody's seeing it. And to me, it's too easy to beat up on the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. My jaw hit the floor when Jerry talked about how he likes to stir up drama and it's good for business, and that played into everything everybody was saying. I started to get over on that side, but once I saw that interview with Stephen A. Smith, number one, he clearly is still lucid and he's clearly got his wits about him. And 2, I really understood where he was coming from, even if I didn't really agree. But I understood. And again, if Mike and them handled it the way he described, I do think they was in the wrong for that. But I do think Jerry, this is too far. Bro, at the end of the day, it wasn't, it wasn't cute. It wasn't proper. But y'all got to put y'all ego aside and say, okay, let's start over. Let's get all 3 of us in the room. Let's start this over. Let's go from there. And then, work something out. I truly believe there's parts about Micah on the field and off the field that Jerry Jones is not down with. And that's why he was able to do this trade. As far as me, man, him going to the Packers, this is my worst case scenario. And not because he's going to be playing against the Bears. I know that's what everybody's talking about. This is my worst case scenario because now I have to dissect him even more. To me, it would be going out of my way in season to really give my opinions about Micah Parsons. But now that he's in the division and we'll be playing him, I'm gonna have to say how it is, and I already how I feel about it. Now, again, we'll watch. He's in a new system. It's our first time seeing him in a new environment and something different, so we'll see. And maybe he has developed, but it's been 4 years, and he's kind of been what he's been. So we'll see. And I think a lot of these people who are fantasy people or Madden people, or you just heard a stat and you're like, oh yeah, he's elite. I think a lot of these people in the NFC North, y'all gonna get to see up front in person. Now, is he gonna have a play where he blow past a tackle and gets a sack? Yeah. Is he gonna have a play where he completely burns an interior lineman? Yeah. But watch him down to down. Watch him down to, and I'm be honest with you, everyone went crazy about Anthony Richardson tapping out, which is a little weird for a quarterback. But Micah don't be on the field all the time. And I'm not saying everybody's on the field all the time, but Micah gets gassed. Micah gets gassed. So we'll see. And he ain't trained all summer. So we'll see, man. Like I said, I always kept it a buck. A lot of his sacks are chase down cover sacks. A lot of them are against bad quality tackles. And that's a lot of the guys that get 10 plus sacks. But I did the grades, at least for this year, every single play, every sack for all the top guys. And Micah was middle of the pack on those grades. So, no pun intended. So we'll see what he got, man. We'll see what he got. But now he's in my division, and I can't ignore it. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Whenever I got an opinion that goes against the grain, and not even a lot of times it's just what's on film, I don't seek to talk about it and get into online debates. But, you know, when something's there to talk about, I have to, and I'm going to have to talk about it as a Bears fan because we'll be playing them twice a year. So I do hate that. Like, for even if Micah stays what he is now, he's still a great edge threat. And that sucks. I don't want to have to deal with that, but there's the potential he can grow and get better, and that's even scarier. So, but it's done now. I honestly can understand. I would be a little hesitant to pay Micah Parsons too. I know that's the simplistic, easy narrative. Yeah, it's a quarterback, you pay him. Yeah, it's an edge rusher, you pay him. Like, they're premium. And that's that. You got to go deeper than stats, and you got to really watch the film. We're about to hit a new wave. Like, we saw Kyler Murray, you got to sign him. The Trevor Lawrence, you have to sign him. And so on and so forth. And we are seeing not a lot of those contracts work out. It's a lot of this. You have to sign them because it's this position in there, this age. Football is not just a stat. This ain't a computer game. Like, it's deeper than stats. It's situational. And so we're turning this is the first, make no mistake, this is the first step. Actually, not really the first, but one of the biggest steps, because we've had a few of these disputes that mostly got finished, but we had a few trades. We've had a few teams opting not to sign the player. And so it's no longer a guarantee. And this is the first major mega step where a owner, even though it's Jerry Jones, saying, hey, yeah, you got good stats. Yeah, you're young. Yeah, you're at a position of premium. That don't mean I automatically need to just, give you the highest contract in the league. The bubble is going to burst, people. We've already seen with the quarterbacks. Quarterbacks are in and out now. They barely giving people 2 years. And you know why? It's not because they impatient. It's because they do not want to get in a situation where they have to completely drain their salary cap on one player unless it's absolutely necessary. So I kind of understand what happened, but it is crazy. So anyway, go to the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share around, get the convo started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.